To discuss Republican Congressman James Comer, member of the House Oversight Committee. Sir, good to have you on. Zelensky says if talks fail, it's World War III, but I think every day that passes shows a Russian military much more feeble than we thought.
It is, and I understand Zelensky trying to pull as many people in to help him. He's got a lot of friends out there. There are a lot of allies. But at the end of the day, I think that the best thing that the world can do is to continue to try to support Ukraine by giving them weapons. I don't think that the other countries need to engage in a world war. That's something that I hope and pray we don't go down.
Absolutely. I want to play something from just a couple hours ago. Biden spoke this evening about this situation, saying, and about a new world order in the aftermath. Take a listen to this.
Now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it.
You hear a lot of people talk like that. They said the same thing after COVID. You know, they say no crisis goes, whatever the saying is. You know, there's always a value to it. Right. But whatever that saying, it just escaped me. But what do you make of his statement there?
Well, they don't ever want to waste a crisis. That's what the Democrat motto is. But you know, if I didn't think there was any way that Joe Biden could make conservatives distrust him any more than we already do. And then he invokes the term New World Order. But I'm not concerned about that because I don't think the world is unfortunately going to follow a president who can't secure his own borders, but yet is trying to dictate the borders for the rest of the globe. So I think Joe Biden would have a lot more credibility if he would take care of business at home first. We certainly don't want to give up on Ukraine, and I'm all in on sanctions against Russia. I'm all in on trying to get Zelensky and the Ukrainian army every tool they need to be successful. But we've got problems here at home, and the rest of the world notices that our crime is out of control. We've got a border that is completely unsecure, but yet Joe Biden wants to try to be the leader of a new world order. It's not going to happen, and I think that the best thing that Joe Biden can do to increase his credibility on the global stage is to take care of the problems that we have at home. The problems, by the way, that were created by Joe Biden's policies.
Yeah, and the problems that, and we're going to talk about this later in the show, I think we are on the cusp of a huge economic realignment in this country, and it's going to be forced as the only way to kind of stave off this rampant inflation. They're going to have we're all going to have to go through a lot of pain to pay for that, whatever, $10 trillion they printed off to get us through COVID and the overreaction they had to COVID-19. We're going to pay for that. And if people don't think we are, get ready, because I think that's coming here in the next year. Biden set to travel to Brussels and Poland this Wednesday. It took him long enough. I mean, they planned this thing 10 days ago. The war waited for him, I guess. What are your expectations on the trip?
Well, hopefully he'll perform well. I think the first thing he needs to do is to tell Europe to quit buying oil from Russia. If we're going to have sanctions against Russia and make Russia feel the pain of their wrongdoing, then the whole world needs to be on the same page. And right now, Europe is still buying oil from Russia. I don't understand why this happens. We've got to learn from these mistakes. Republicans have been saying this all along. The energy policy is what probably created the scenario where Putin invaded Ukraine. He sees weakness in the United States energy policy, and of course there's always been weakness in European energy policy because the Europeans invented the wokeness that the Democrats have now embraced in the United States, especially with respect to energy policy. So we've got to become energy independent in the United States. We have the ability to do that, but we also need to ensure that Europe, because we're protecting Europe. When we talk about protecting NATO, we're talking about primarily protecting Europe here. We've got to make sure that they're all in as well, and they cannot continue to buy oil from Russia. That should be one of the easy demands that Biden gets from this trip.
It is staggering. You know, you got to wonder what the Ukrainian people think when they see those bombs dropping on their head and they know they were paid for by the Germans, who just can't quite let go of that oil, that Russian oil, and refuse to buy it from anywhere else, and we refuse to give it to them. It's just all common sense. I don't understand how it's so difficult for these people to understand. All right, Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Sir, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me on, Rob.